Gifts Please, the parenting podcast by the pair with no real gifts, but a whole lot of gumption. Hey everyone, I'm Steve Noviello.
And I'm Jenny Anchondo.
Always lovely to see you, and I always love when we get to have a guest in the studio, selfishly because we're generally curious about what it is that they're talking about. But I will say, from the feedback we get from our listeners, that our curiosity tends to walk hand in hand with the curiosity of our listeners.
We got a lot of feedback on the school entrance.
Oh, did we?
Sunshine Learning.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel like there's maybe room for a follow-up on that.
Probably.
With the test taking and admissions and things like that. And something else that we've talked about is language learning.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, how do you get the kids to cross the finish line on actually speaking another language? So we brought in Micah Bellew, who is the founder of TruFluency Kids Spanish School Online. So she's a Spanish learner herself as a teen and young adult, and she realized that the classes that focused on academics and grammar basically did not work. So her grandparents are from Mexico. She really wanted to learn how to speak Spanish. Nothing was really getting her fluent. So she made the move. She moved to Mexico, learned how it feels to actually acquire that second language. Then she came back and put it all into TruFluency Kids Spanish. Now, she has a trilingual daughter, not to brag, very cool. Also, she's the CEO of Fluency Corp. So they do language coaching programs for Fortune 500 companies globally like Mercedes-Benz and American Airlines. So it's not just with the kids, it's with the adults too. I stalked Micah online because I have tried to have fluent children myself. Micah, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
I would like to point out, even more impressive than your daughter being trilingual, she's 4, correct?
Yeah, she's 4.
So she's a 4-year-old trilingual kid. What does she speak?
Spanish, French, and English as a native speaker, and she's been learning Japanese for a year.
Oh,
where? How?
Gosh.
I find teachers online, and because I know what it takes, I interview them and watch how they're teaching. And yeah.
So here's the thing. My boys are 7 and 9, and actually, you know what? Here is the problem. We go to a nice school that is well funded by the parent fundraising in the community. And they recently had cuts, and the first thing to go was foreign language. The first thing to go. So now they still get foreign language, I think a couple of times a week, but the idea of having but now the foreign language teachers rotate within the district. They don't have a full 8 hours a day on each of the campuses, right? Mm-hmm. Which kind of breaks my heart. But I think I share the same feeling as a lot of parents, which is when I hear stories like the one of your daughter, I think, oh my God, am I so late to the game here? You look at these kids who just inherently grow up from birth speaking different languages. Is it too late for me and my boys for them to become fluent?
No, it's not too late at all, but it is a big commitment of time. That is the trickiest part.
And how do you, because listen, my children sometimes can have the attention span of a goldfish. Mm-hmm. So how do you, you've cracked the code here on keeping kids engaged, because the idea of repetition strengthens and confirms, and using this language and living in this language and, making it something that it becomes instinctual to you. How do you, unless it's on Mario Kart, you don't really have their attention.
So for us, our main thing is storytelling, songs, and lots of questions about them, because they love talking about their lives, their pets, their families, what they're doing. So we tell a story that we have all written. We have 9 levels of storytelling. So I think there's 72 total stories to get through now. And we ask them questions about the story, which allows them to learn naturally. And then we turn those questions around to them as well. So they get excited to talk about what happened in the story, then sing a song about the story, and then answer questions about themselves.
And is this all happening in the language that they're trying to learn? How do they even know how to understand what you're saying to begin? How do I get to that point?
Yeah, that's a huge question that we get from parents. So in the nerdy world of language learning, it's called comprehensible input. And to say it simply is, if I'm saying apple, I'm showing you an apple. So everything that we're saying, we're showing you what we're saying. We're never talking about something that cannot clearly be shown.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling a lot of the people listening are going down the road of what actually doesn't work. They're spending their time, they're spending their money, they're spending their resources, they're spending their compliance of their children to do something that's not going to move the needle. I did it myself. I have a lot of Spanish speaking family, wanted to get on board with the language. I'd always do like the one class a week. That's
the apps.
I remain not fluent. So what doesn't work in your experience?
So the tricky thing about language learning and like mastering anything, it's consistency over a really long time. And you have to be doing what you actually want to be able to do. So if you're using an app, is an app teaching you how to speak? Are you speaking? Are you practicing speaking? Because the only way to actually get better at speaking a language is to speak a language. Just like swimming. You can't watch the teacher.
To it. So listening to it, like let's say somebody said, hey, look, we don't have a lot of time, but we're going to listen to Spanish music in the car and then we're going to listen to like an audiobook.
That's okay, but you're still not having to respond and form a sentence.
And participate, right?
Yeah.
What did you learn in your business? Like when you first started, were you seeing results right away or was there some time in your business where you're like, well, shoot, I thought this was going to work and people are not learning the language?
Yeah, it was really tricky at the beginning, actually. Someone asked me to put together a language program for a local elementary school in person. And at first I said, oh man, I can't write a curriculum. That's a full-time job, writing a curriculum, a textbook. So I spent probably the first 2 years using other people's Spanish curriculum. And it was really just fun for kids. It didn't get them speaking. And so that's when I started making my own year 3. And that was 11 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and I guess, listen, it's funny to me because I'm sitting here like, okay, like, but how do they learn? And it's like, well, how do my kids learn English?
Yes.
Right. I mean, like I'm showing you ball. I'm showing you apple. I'm showing you spoon. I'm showing, we had some sign language moments. I'm hungry. I'm full. I'm, all of these kinds of things. I don't know why for some reason when learning a secondary language, that same method, which clearly works because I speak English fluently, seems like such a foreign pipe dream because I get in the weeds about like, okay, sure, they know manzana for apple, but what about all the connecting words to get me to, I want an apple cut in half or, whatever the case is.
Yeah, it's funny that you said it like that because when people call and say, well, how do we learn a second language? I say the exact same way you learned your first. And you know why? It's a 100% success rate.
Right.
Every single child speaks their parents' language. So why ruin a 100% success rate? And so for the manzana thing, you would then say, I want to eat.
Yeah.
You show them what you're saying each time.
Okay, this is online or in person?
So we had an in-person school for 7 years.
Okay.
So I had to redo the whole curriculum. When COVID hit, I said, we're going to go online. And so now everything is online.
What are the unique obstacles or opportunities even that creates the online? Because again, I'm thinking about my kid sitting in front of a computer and kind of thinking of the parent who's listening right now. That's like, oh, they're not going to be engaged.
Yeah. So we use a lot of games, a lot of speaking games. Especially for the younger kids. My daughter is 4, so I'm watching this in practice, right? In these Japanese classes that she's taking. They have to be moving. So all the songs, they have movements with them. Even in the stories, when we're saying I'm eating an apple in the story, everybody is acting it out. Kids have to be moving.
Okay.
While they're doing something at a computer, period.
Yeah, they can just sit there. I mean, listen, if COVID taught us anything, it's that a kid sitting there in front of a computer for 8 hours a day is not an effective learning tool. Not that we're going to, be too critical of traditional school learning, but I would imagine that your success rate is fantastic. And maybe do you look at traditional, let's say elementary school, foreign language education and think, gosh, there's this thing that you're not doing right. And that's why, or that you could be doing better.
That's a good question.
And that's why you're not getting the result that you want. Because frankly, if kids are starting in kindergarten, they should be fluent by the time they're in 5th or 6th grade. No?
Yes, they should.
So what's the problem? What are we missing?
The talk time. Kids in bilingual and immersion programs are becoming passive bilinguals, meaning they understand what is being said, but that teacher does not have time to spend one-on-one time like parents give their kids every single day, talking to them and giving them a chance to talk back. It's not possible. And so that's why the online, and that's why I switched, We have 4 kids, sometimes 3 and 2 in every class. That is a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And a lot of speaking.
Is there, or is it even recommended that, because again, to your point, a parent is at home in their native language, reinforcing everything that a kid is learning as they learn that native language. So is there an opportunity like in your setup where parents are like, you know what, I also am going to take this class while my child is taking it so that we can reinforce it home? Because I would imagine that if you're the only person in your family that's learning to speak Spanish without much opportunity to practice that, then there's some slide there.
We give 2 opportunities for the parents. So I always give the example of your kid can become an Olympic swimmer without you ever learning to swim, right?
That's a good point.
Not every parent has to. So there are 2 types of parents, the ones that say, I do not have any time for this. I need you to take over and get them fluent all on your own. And they 100% will. There's no parent engagement needed. But a lot of parents, it's critical. We don't have time for then going over more things at home. I am a parent. I am very realistic. Everything has to be realistic in this. And this is a 5 to 6 year journey, like you just said, about kindergarten to 5th grade. So this needs to be something that parents can think, can I do this for this long? And there are some parents, and we get a lot of homeschooling parents that say, I want to be involved. Some take 1 class per week with what their kids are doing. So a separate class from their kids. And we also send home a parent guide that says all of the questions that we're working on that week and the answers they can expect from their kids. And they work on it if they want to.
That's great. Okay, here's the question, because Brighton's actually done your classes. She thoroughly enjoyed them.
Aww.
Where I failed her was that then it was like, oh, summertime, we're going to stop and not do a class. Okay, now we're busy. We're deep into soccer and basketball are overlapping. And so we stop. And I'm guessing that's where like you have to be incredibly committed to this. Yeah. What's the commitment? I like to know this, like with the allergist. I was like, how many months are we talking? I can make it in here once a week, but I have to know the end date. How many days per week, how many hours per day, and then how many years?
I say we like to have between an 85 and a 90% attendance rate over the year. And these are 2 classes per week. For the little kids, 4 to 6, it's a 25-minute class. We can't expect more. Bad. No, it's not. And then for the older
certainly
kids,
a lot less than soccer practice.
Well, exactly.
I mean, soccer practice is a solid hour.
And what's that going to get?
And I always tell parents, I go, this is not an extracurricular. We have to shift our mind about what this class is. This is English. This is history. This is science. It just happens to be after school, although we're trying to get in schools.
Well, and to your point, though, listen, I joke about, I'm taking my kids to basketball this afternoon. When we're done, neither one of them are going to be LeBron James. Is that a person? Is that a basketball player?
I think so.
You're so
I'm pretty bad too.
However, if I make the commitment to you for a quarter of that time, twice a week, you will be fluent in Spanish.
You will. And then there can be a maintenance program as well. And you can go less and you can miss more because I've spoken to my daughter in French most of her life. And for the last 6 months, Mama's tired. It's my 3rd language. It's hard to connect in my 3rd language. So I've gone down and I got to get some help and get some maintenance in there. And I have that plan coming. So you can fail for a while, but you got to get back in.
What's the success rate for you, for these kids that are coming in? And
if you stay in, it's 100% because our brains are made for language. They learned English. They can learn anything.
That's crazy. I'm so mad at myself.
And everyone says,
right? Like this is
your daughter's so smart. I'm like,
no,
she just
her
has
mom
a natural
just
brain.
has a schedule.
I don't know how to say a natural brain, but you know what I mean. She learned English.
It's like I'm sitting here and she's like, if you choose to apply yourself,
right, I mean, truly,
guaranteed.
No, truly.
And I'm like, we've chosen to not.
We have opted out of applying ourselves. I've never missed a cheer practice.
Well, but that's
where
the
are my
point,
priorities?
Right?
Yeah.
And again, not to be like, my kid's never going to be Lionel Messi, but you will speak Spanish fluently. It's crazy that we're not all like, which by the way, can get you ahead interpersonally, professionally, like you become a global citizen. I mean, there's so many insane benefits to being bilingual.
It's absolutely,
especially in Texas.
Critical. I mean, just for making friends, if for nothing else.
But there are people, if we're being honest, surely there's been at least one person who has said, like, what is the thing when somebody does say, hey, we're not doing this anymore? that either they let get in the way, or maybe there was a change in ideology or whatever it is? Like, what's the red flag where you're like, hey guys, like I see you starting to slip or whatnot. Like we need to kind of recommit here.
I would say two things. The first thing, of course, is being busy and other activities. Just it's so hard. I mean, these kids can only do so much, and it is really tricky to do so many things. So I would say that the time is the number one. It's the number one for the adults too.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is all across the board. And the next one, I would say, be open to switching teachers. I've had probably 25 Japanese teachers in my 10 years learning. You should be able to talk to lots of different people. Don't stick with just one teacher the whole time. So a mom this morning said, oh, my son just has not really been wanting to come lately. And I'm like, switch it up.
Yeah, find a new teacher.
Switch the teacher. Get a new energy in there, a new personality.
Well, because to your point, when you're learning your native language, everybody's a teacher. Every grandparent, every stranger, every clerk at a store, every TV ad, every single person you encounter is a new teacher. And yet when we learn a different language, this one person is the teacher. And it's like, well, gosh, I think I would be incredibly bored if I had to just talk to one person for the rest of my life. So why aren't you in schools? I mean, listen, 25 minutes a day, 2 days a week, that's about how often my kids go to Spanish class. And, they're bright,
not fluent.
They're bright kids, but nobody's, fluent.
Yeah, this is a new initiative for us. We've had 2 schools call us. We had never thought really of being B2B. And so when they called us, I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
These kids now have tablets in schools.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
This is so much less money than hiring a full-time teacher.
Yeah.
Or even to supplement the program.
The speaking part.
Too. Yeah, the speaking the teachers have so much on their plates right now. So I think even an investment in this additionally, in addition to the teacher who is having to make sure that like somebody's, they stubbed their toe, or this person's sick, or this person needs to go to the, there's a lot of comings and goings during the short period of language or any type of learning. I can see this supplementing a teacher well too.
Yeah, we think will go great. We look forward to the first time.
Two sessions per week, 25 minutes
for the young kids. It's 45 and 50 for the older.
What's older? What's considered older?
7 to 12.
Oh,
okay. Well, again, I know
out of the 25-minute one.
Oh, have we?
But many people do the private lessons because they want those 25-minute packages. So a lot of people do the private ones.
And here's the thing too, like this sticks. I mean, so when I was growing up, you were not exposed to a foreign language until 7th grade. That's when it started, right? Now it's different. My kids started, I think it was kindergarten or whatever it was. But I just saw her at an event. I remember Senorita Fisher in 7th grade and the things that she taught me, and and I can, and then I took Spanish all through high school, and then maybe a year or 2 in college, but not a semester or 2, I would say. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what, 4 or 5 years of Spanish? And
you come out with manzana?
Well, but like here we are, I'm 51 years old, and I'm one of those people who I can certainly understand everything you're telling me, but I don't know that I could speak back to you appropriately, right? So my point in saying that is, again, in support of your statement earlier, that this is a natural craving that your brain has. And if you feed it, it will stick, right? It amazes me sometimes because the boys are taking Spanish and I'll talk to them in Spanish. Very bit. How are you? What's the date? The boy walks on the sand playing the guitar, like that kind of, stuff. But it amazes me sometimes where I'm like, wow, my brain has retained this kind of stuff. It's so funny that we don't feed it more.
And isn't it easier to learn when you're younger? Even if we're just trying to be like, I would like an easy button on something, is not the easy button to start younger with language?
Yeah, I had a limit with my daughter. I only spoke Spanish to her until around a year old. And I knew if I didn't flip to French only at a year and a half, that the only person who was going to be paying for this was myself, on how hard it was going to be.
Okay.
So she doesn't remember ever not speaking French together.
That's insane.
Okay, so we missed the 1.5.
We missed the 1.5, but yes, they are
is not
spongy.
8 easier than 9 and 9 easier than 10 and 10 easier than 20?
Yeah, and the accent is going to be better, and the acceptance, because they don't think as much. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, so my oldest daughter went to Spanish immersion school and has the most incredible accent.
You see?
Her accent is perfection. And Spanish speakers always remark on it and they think she's going to know more than she does because of the way that she responds. But then COVID happened. And so she wasn't in the immersion school anymore. And then her school actually has a very robust Spanish program, but it was lower than what she'd already learned. So she kind of like went backwards / stayed even. So now I'm like, oh, we fumbled that, but also I'm going to blame COVID like we do for everything that happened during that time. But I'm just thinking like, you're right. At least she has the accent and she understands sort of the way it's supposed to be spoken.
She has a lot in there.
I have to ask the obvious question. What does pricing look like here? I mean, we have a lot of viewers in a lot of different demographics that might be thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but I also have to have a realistic budget here. I mean, what's the commitment financially for families?
So I think you're going to be shocked because one of the things that was heavy on my heart is bilingualism for all. And so we have partial scholarships for families that aren't able to, and we just say, what can you pay? But for the rest of it, for the private classes, for the 25 minutes, it's as low as $22 for a 25-minute class.
Are you kidding me?
And 27 is the highest. And then for the group classes, they start at 15.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
It's so funny. I'm always hesitant to ask that question of our guests because it's like, oh, we do this great
Some
interview.
Some people are like, it's $1,000 an hour.
I mean, it's less than $1 a minute.
Yeah, my entrepreneur mentor is like,
right, you need to raise that price.
He's like, get that up. And I just did. And I'm like, 4%. He's like, okay.
Well, parents appreciate that. And honestly, I wouldn't have even done it if the price hadn't been what it was when we did it with Brighton, because I was kind of trying to fill that gap between, okay, COVID and things ending, and it makes it so much easier to be compliant and to think, like I said, you have to, anytime you join something like this where you know there's a long-term commitment that's required, it's not like a one-time hit. You have to think about, can I budget this in for the next 6 years?
Yeah, this is $150 to $250 a month.
For however many children I have.
Oh, and that's
a
huge.
thing
Most
too.
people have.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, you have done everything you can to try and remove every conceivable bar to entry here, and it's so appreciated because you're right. I mean, this is a thing that is such a benefit of children. Again, even if just the idea of opening your mind to the global nature of how this next generation of children are going to live and how they do have to communicate with one another. And frankly, with technology kind of dumbing down the need to learn other languages. I mean, now earbuds translate for you in real time. I have a pair of AI glasses where you speak to me in Spanish. I can read like a teleprompter in English, and then I speak to, it's like, or you could pay $22 and learn how to speak Spanish fluently. So where can people find you? Is there a website? Is there an Instagram?
Yeah, TruFluencyKids.com, and that's true without the E.
Okay, TruFluencyKids.com. Do you do summer camps and stuff, or like what's the?
We are year round.
Okay.
So we try to pull away from the semesters.
Seasonal.
Summer.
Yeah,
yes,
that makes sense.
We're very anti-seasonal.
Yeah.
Most people are on a monthly payment.
Yeah.
And if they need to, we're going on vacation, we let them make it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's room.
There.
People can sign up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's an online school.
I just want to get you in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good
my
point.
daughter's school.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like
for sure.
real.
You should come. We'll talk when we're done, like about even like coming and talking to the PTA and getting parents kind of excited about learning foreign language. Thank you so much for your time.
Micah.
Thank you,
This has been great.
guys.
Again, I remember this reminds me of when I was living in Vermont years and years and years ago with one of my fraternity brothers, and he had gotten like severely into working out and like looked phenomenal. And I would look at him and think like, I could do that, but I've chosen to stop evolution where I am. And like, I think about this kind of stuff and it's like, we could do this. We could do this easily. Even I'm talking about myself.
As an adult, do you know how many times I've taken Spanish classes?
Yeah.
I took Spanish classes when I lived in the Tri-Cities. I took them again when I lived in Tucson, Arizona. I took them again when I lived in Indianapolis, college level classes. And but it's like nobody said, because I think everybody wants you to join their class. I think the intentions are good when they say, just do a semester, like do a couple. I think the intentions are there,
yes,
but they have to be honest, which is what Micah finally did.
Yes.
Which is you have to commit to years of this.
Yeah, well, and also you have to commit to using
it. And I like that.
I could conjugate the heck out of a verb for you, but like what good is that doing
me too,
right?
Ancho, ancha, sancha, anchamos, anchai, sanchan.
Yeah.
If you want the ing ending, then it would be enchando.
All right.
I don't even think that's correct, but I like it.
It's fine. No, I love this. I think it's a great it's such a necessary skill at this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you really just can't get away with.
We just
with
need
not.
them to do it at school, though.
No, they really should. It's crazy because it's like if you have a proven method of educating kids with 100% success rate, and here's the formula, and it costs less than a teacher or even supplemental to make your school even more competitive.
Totally.
Like, why wouldn't you do it?
I agree.
Why wouldn't you do it? All right. Again, we've got that information listed in the show notes here. It's TruFluency, TruFluency kids.com. Check it out. I mean, check it out. It's in the budget. Trust me. All right. We want to remind you a new podcast episode drops every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. on your favorite podcast platform. And if you do nothing else today, go find yourself a friend you don't need to clean the house for. We'll see you next time.